I love these unique items. I don't know, do people use napkin holders anymore? Welcome back. Well, it is midweek and I'm here in my storage garage number 1. If you are new to my channel, I'm Julie and I'm a longtime picker, thrifter, buyer, seller of vintage, antiques, unique, secondhand, and pre-loved items. I'm here in this storage garage. I'm here to do a few things today, but first and foremost, I'm going to be hand-picking some items with you to get them ready, to get them listed into my eBay store. And my eBay store is ATTIC TREASURES FLEA MARKET. So last week I did a video. I didn't hand-pick any items for you, so some of you may have been disappointed, but it was a pivot for me. It's about to be August and I needed to supercharge my energy, or me getting things listed up into my eBay store. I guess you could call that my supercharge. I do ask you if you want to check out that video, but part of my pivot, I'm still showing things on my shelves to be put into my eBay store. I have 2 storage garages. I just need to work a little harder to work toward my goal, which is a 2-year goal that I started this past spring, to downsize from my 2 storage garages to just 1. Just a little backstory. The beginning of last summer, I actually had four storage garages. And at the start of this summer, or before this summer, I actually only had 2. So it can be done. It just takes a lot of work, a lot of effort. But I'm going to be doing this a little differently because I got myself a little gadget, and I'm not going to recommend it yet because I haven't tried it really. But in my last video, I did a walkthrough and I showed you all my shelves and some that needed my attention or needed to be thinned. So I picked 3 of those shelves today to go and check out and kind of pull some items, do this in some small segments, and then I'll bring everything back here that I have chosen, and I'll give you a closer look at them. While I'm picking, the topic that I've, I guess, chosen to talk about today is saving money. Yeah. Whether you're a buyer, whether you're a seller, whether you're a browser, or whether, no matter what category you are, you may benefit, and you may know these things already, but it's some things that I have frequently incorporated for my business to be able to save money, make money. So, I guess I'm gonna put this gadget on and get to my shelves. So let's see. One of these shelves was this. And get this out of the way first. This box. Beautiful Sheffield. And I'm going to bring that up and give you a closer look. Put that down there. This is another thing that I'm going to go through real quickly, but it's to tell you a quick story, a boo-boo that I made. This shelf. Glassware. Oh my goodness. Yep, that does need to be thinned out a bit. A lot of these shelves need to be thinned out, but I'm going to focus on this one today. Bear with me. So, saving money. I need, just like everyone else, to save some money. We're gonna pick that one. Oh my goodness. Let's see, do I have 4 of these? Yep. that over there. I did pick that. Makes for a little more room. Not too much though. Oh my goodness. Stacking stuff way too high. This one's the odd man out, so I think I'm gonna pick him. That pile is still pretty high, but yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna pick from that pile today, but I will be doing some thinning out. Bring you out on the other side. This was another shelf that was needing some attention. That looks like a possibility. So does that. And this one. Although, that is a chip. So that's probably going to go in the purging pile. I made a little headway on this one. Not much, but let's see if I put this over here. I might be able to consolidate and have things stacked not so high. I don't know, what the heck? You think I should pick this one? Let's see. Down here. I don't know if I can get down there with this camera. We'll try. Oh, what do we have here? That's a possibility. And the shelf right above it is a mess. It's all my candle stuff. So a lot of this stuff will go to the shelf above it. But I think I'm going to go ahead and pick those two items. Now, I thought I could talk and do this at the same time, but I don't know. I may talk more about saving money as I show these items to you a little more closely. So stay on board. Okay. So if you've been watching any of my episodes or any of my channel, you're probably saying, why does she have so much stuff? Well, I had an antique booth or booth in an antique mall for 17 years, and I've actually been selling on eBay for well over 27 years. And honestly, I did and I do have too much stuff. So it's a downfall. But you know, I wanted to talk a little today as I show you these items about saving money, and rest assured that more than half of the items in this garage I got for free. It takes effort. It does take effort, and you know, you need to find yourself a source. Let's see, my husband and I winter in Texas. I have a wonderful source down there. There is a lady who runs something right off her farm. She goes to estate sales with her truck. There's 4 of them, 4 companies that she follows, and after they have finished their sale, she throws everything into the truck, brings it back, and her whole acreage is covered in buildings and piles of estate sale no-sells. And I get things for rock bottom prices. It takes a lot of work. You do a lot of climbing of piles and sifting through things, but it's worth it. So whether you're a buyer or a seller, and you know, some of the things that I say today, you know, may kind of just disgruntle some people, especially other sellers. But the fact is, you know, if you're a buyer or a seller, you do need to watch on price. I believe this might be a Fire King jadeite square bowl, but I may need to look that up to be most correct. Now this lovely set, one of the first things that I pulled out, is just beautiful. It's a Sheffield, and it's the Elegance pattern. And hopefully I can get that nice and close without a reflection. Beautiful teapot. No issues. And it does have a 8 teacups. Find one here that's clean. It's got a nice pattern. It's like green, maybe ivy, with some flowers there. And this is, I want to make sure, I have this habit of showing you guys things upside down. So I have 8 of those. And I'm going to apologize for the road noise. Storage garage number 1 is near a road. 2, 4, 6. Yes, I have. Oh, those are the dessert plates. 2, 4, 6. I do have 8 of both the saucers and the cups, the teacups. That's just like the teacup. So I guess I consider this almost like a, like a luncheon or a tea set, because I actually have 8 of the little dessert plates or snack plates, and same design. So that would make a nice, tea for 8. This is probably the odd man out, because now you might use your salt and pepper at tea time, but I do have the salt and pepper set. So that, if it's not in my eBay store, if it's on my shelves, it's not gonna sell. So I need to get a move on. Let's see, back to savings. I think I was telling you most of my items here, more than half of them I acquired free. And it kind of gives me the luxury to, when I do need to buy something that I guess I just must have, that I can pay. I don't feel so guilty. But I do encourage you to, buy or watch what price points. What are you buying things for? What's the price? And there are some places that are great sources. This is a bowl, and it's a Williams Sonoma, made in Italy. Not certain if this is a mixing bowl. It does have a rim inside there, but that might be a mixing bowl. Now, other places, besides, maybe I do pick at the dump. I'm not ashamed to say. That's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun. And if you watch some of my shorts, you'll see my picking hauls, because I just love to do that. I just, it's amazing what people throw away. I mean, really. Now, what I have here is an oval, vintage oval. I guess you would call this a vegetable serving bowl. I love that little design on the side, around the edge. Nice floral, and the mark on the back. You do see crazing. I'm not adverse to crazing, but no cracks, no chips. Now that pink bowl that you may have seen when I walked next to my shelf and grabbed some things, that had 2 chips in it, so that's a no-go for me. That's a no-go for me. What was that other one? Oh, dirty. Sorry, remember, you're in my storage. I thought this was a nice little bowl. Blue onion, I guess you would call it. I don't know. I will made in Vietnam, so I'll have to do a little research on this. I just have that one, but that is certainly pretty and dirty, but that can get cleaned up. And then this is a unique little thing. This is a vintage Tilso, T-I-L-S-O, coffee grinder napkin holder. And I love these unique items. Hopefully you can get a good view of that without too much reflection. And there's the bottom. So that's unique. That's nice. I don't know, do people use napkin holders anymore? And it is kind of for small napkins. And then this was the other dish that I pulled from that shelf. Going through some, if you see me pulling tags, it's because sometimes some of these items either were in my antique mall booth or were going to go into my antique mall booth. This is a, I guess, just a baking dish. It's a vibrant, pretty pattern. And it is, oh, I'm not going to pronounce this right, I can tell you right now. Porte-Mairon oven to table, made in Britain, 1992. Wow, I'll see if I can get that up close so you can read that. Lovely. It's got the, it has the pattern on the outside and on the inside. You know, like when your casserole is finished. Still looks pretty. So let's see, what are some other places you can find good deals? You know, you can go, I always warn about going to antique stores. You can find nice deals at antique stores, but you really do have to have hold your wallet tight, because it's a brick and mortar. You know, as soon as you put a brick and mortar in the picture, it seems as though, or an antique store, there are, I don't know, the prices can be, sometimes it's hard to find things at a decent price. You can, you just might find, you might be lucky. Thrift stores, and I'm talking about, there are lots of types of thrift stores. You know, there's more than just Goodwill. I know around here we have a few hospice related or health related or just benevolent kind of thrift stores. Those are usually great finds. Now this is a Lazy Susan. I had actually picked all 4, and I can't necessarily show you all 4 together, but if you can picture how that would be, and then the other 2 would go above that, and I guess you would have a bowl in the middle. But they call this, this is clear glass, pressed glass, a Lazy Susan. I'll just show that up to you nice and close. And sometimes when I come across these, it's always a dish short, but for some reason, I have 4 of them. Let's see, I talked about antique stores, thrift shops. There's always Goodwill. I don't necessarily, I'm not a lover of going to Goodwill, but at times I do go. I usually like to go to the other thrift stores. Then there's flea markets, and there are auctions. Now, flea markets, sometimes it depends. It depends on the flea market you go to for your area. I've had good luck at flea markets. Auctions. Got to be careful. Got to be really careful with auctions, because you're going to get caught up in the excitement of an auction, and you may say, I'm gonna pay $10, and then you're in love with it, and all of a sudden that goes up to 15, 20, 25, 30, and you're putting your hand up each time. Before you know it, at the very end, you've probably spent twice as much money on that item than you should have. So you do have to have, like I talked about in my previous video, discipline. Yes, there are great deals to be had at auctions, but you have to be wary about getting caught up in it. Let's see, what was the other side? Oh, estate sales, and to me, some areas call things estate sales instead of garage sales or whatever your area uses. But when I refer to estate sales, I'm talking about sales that are being held and curated by an estate company. And that's a hit or miss too. It really depends on the company. I, years ago, used to try to be the first one at an estate sale. I used to, want to be there, and you get standing in line. But to be honest with you, there are no deals, or I have found very few deals at the first day. In the past many years, I have had a habit of, and I'm not ashamed to admit, I go the very last day, the last hours, and get some great things. And some of you may be saying, yeah, but you don't get the best stuff. I beg to differ, and I get great things. And then I'll even admit that if it's in the area where I'm close to, I might even swing by later that evening or the next day, because sometimes they have chosen to put the unsold items roadside, hoping that somebody will come and just take them away. Free. This is this was on my back shelf, this box of stuff. And I brought this out. I'm not going to go through all the littles in here, but the reason I brought this out is to make a point. When you have a storage, you have a lot of things, and you really need to find yourself getting them out the door. I know, because I get things at good prices or free, I try to, and this is going to make some resellers really mad, but it is what it is. I try to be at the low end of the market price, and it's in this time frame of my business, I am wanting to move things. I'm not looking for top dollar on many things. I'm wanting to move. I want things to move on. It's real important that if you're trying to minimize what you have, or you're trying to move things that you have, you do need to consider price. So, having said that, I lost some money the other day, and it was because I consider myself pretty organized. Items that you see here are not in my eBay store, and once I show them to you, they get in my car, they go home, they get cleaned. If they need repairs, they get photographed, and then they get put into my eBay store. All my items, my inventory that I have listed in my eBay store, is home or in my she shed, in boxes, in certain areas, pretty well labeled. And every so often things get catamonca, but I have to get down there, get over in, and get things straightened up, relabeled maybe. Well, somebody bought something that I'd had up on my eBay for quite a while. And it was going back a couple, maybe at least a year ago. I'd come across a lot of Barbie clothes. And I think I was down to my last 3 items. And I had some, I've got some bags of mixed clothes. I'm probably going to go through these and see if I just sell them off as a lot. But what I had misplaced, and I ended up having to tell my buyer, and I was just beside myself, is I had misplaced these bags. Well, I found them here in my storage. They shouldn't have been here. And because they were in my storage and because they weren't home, I went through everything, wasted time, just to find this. This is like a Florence Nightingale cape for a Barbie. Yeah. I was completely beside myself. Well, I found it today. Needless to say, when she had made the purchase and then I realized I couldn't find it, I couldn't send it to her. I sent her a message and gave her her full refund. And I just felt awful about it. I said, I'm really sorry, I just misplaced it. But in the event I come upon it, I will actually send it to you free. Well, guess what? If you happen to be watching my channel, if the buyer of this is watching my channel, I'm going to be reaching out to you later today because you're going to get this cape for free. It's the principle. I'm usually a very strict on myself as far as one-day handling and getting things listed, getting things up into my eBay store, and getting them out to you quickly and safely. So that's my spiel today. I think I showed you about 9 or more items. And I'm working on, if you watched that video, my most recent video, I'm on a 90-day challenge. I challenged myself. I just started it this weekend, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. But the 90-day challenge is for me to double my listings on eBay. I started at about 500, give or take, and so I'm working towards getting up to 1,000. Now, it's funny. After the weekend, I realized this challenge might be pretty darn hard. Why? Because not only do I need to get things listed, but things are selling. So actually, I got a whole bunch of stuff listed, and then I sold many things, and it leveled out. So that's kind of, I'm not complaining. I'm glad that the things sold. But it might be more of a challenge than I set it out to be. Because yes, not only do I need to list, but things are going to sell. So that climb up from 500 to 1,000, I'm still working towards that 60, was it 60 day? Yeah, did I say 60 day? Now I can't remember, but I do believe it's doable. But it is to supercharge me getting some items out of my shelves and into my eBay store. So it was fun. I enjoy these episodes, and I'm now just once weekly. So I will see you again next week. Meanwhile, enjoy. Find some ways to save some money.